Careering chargers, thundering swift, dispatch my heart to places only hearts can match. Then destinies far out in front, fast speed me down a road of song, whose windings feed the knowing man through every village found. This way conveyed I came, for courses crowned. With wide renown advanced my speeding heart, along, outstretching far my quickening cart. Fair maidens led the way. From out its shaft the axle sent a whining cry abaft. Hot, burning under constant friction, bright within fast flickering hubs, for in their flight 2 wheels whirled the axle of a lathe, as fleet Helladies caress and bathe. My car with dawning light, abandoning dark realms of night to seek their father's ring. Of light, while turning back, with regal hand, smooth veils from fair faces, right there stand. Twin lofty gates dividing the way of night from day, a lintel and still of stony might. Of light, while turning back, with regal hand, smooth veils from fair faces, right there stand. Twin lofty gates dividing the way of night from day, a lintel and sill of stony might. Encase them strong on either side, while doors of massive sweep and sway fill up with force their heavenly frame, and painful justice holds, with pain dispensing woe, both locking bolts. But gently urging maidens urged their way with softened words, and quick she thrust away. For them the bolt, bars from the guarded gate, its doors then forced a yawning chasm great. Unfolding giant wings attached with pins of brass in 2-way hinges, squealing dins the air with plaintive moans, as doors fixed fast with rows of riveted bolts wheeled lazily past. Through open gates swift maidens reined my horse and car to trace their high celestial course. A gracious goddess kindly welcomed me with open arms and hospitality. My right hand softly she entwined with hers, and spake to me in song this gentle verse. O child of high soaring ecstasies, immortal charioteers and chargers seize, you to my palace halls. I welcome you today. No evil fate has sent you to traverse this starry path of mine. Far back it lies, removed from man's own beaten track. But right and justice teemed, necessity demands you learn of nature's panoply. To wit, well-rounded truth's untrembling core of life plus opinions born of common law, in which there is no true belief. Still yet there is one thing you must not soon forget. How needs must seem those things which seem to far penetrating all reality. Arise, I say, take home my warbling lays, to hear afresh. These are the only ways a thinking man should seek. One claims quite free that being is, and is not to be. She is persuasion's path, attending truth. The other, in opposite vein, retorts forsooth. There is no being, there must not ever be. This path, I say, you'll never learn to see. For neither can you know non-being, a sheer impossibility, nor phrase it clear, for thinking and being are one and the same. Behold within your mind's own deepening frame those presences steadfastly fixed, yet all removed from obviousness, for never shall these beings dissolve their ineluctable hold on being, whether scattered, manifold, across the cosmic all, or packed into a rounded ball. For where I start, there too shall I again return self-same. Now you must say and think that being exists as true necessity, since being is to be, but nothingness impossibility. I urge you now to contemplate these lays, for from the first path's search I block your gaze. Far off her winding course have mortals strayed alone in ambiguity, dismayed, mid nothing seem nor known, for helplessness drives on the mind far, wandering the heart's abyss. They carry on both dumb and blind, amazed, confused, these feckless tribes, who wholly dazed, adjudged to be and not to be the same, yet not the same, a backward turning game, the path of all. So never be seduced by thoughts that nothing's equal beings reduce. Blot from your thought this course, raise high offence. Don't let old habits, harsh experience propel you headlong down this fruitless path, but close your blinded eyes, your ears with wrath of worldly sounds beset, and stay your tongue, to judge by reason's aid alone. Among the paths my strife-filled refutations rive, thus only one's path's myths remains alive, the one that claims that being is along. This path opposed many signs that throng the passer-by, such as ungenerable and absolutely indestructible, unwavering, endless, every limb, one, whole. No, nor will, no was nor will, all past and future null, since being subsists in one ubiquitous, now unitary and continuous. For what descent would one assert for being? And how, from whence, will being grow so teeming with vast increase? I bid you neither say nor think that being springs from nothing's way. The notion that this being is not, for thought to think, nor lips to speak. For what necessity would rouse vast being to grow, begun in time or sprung ex nihilo? So being must exist in fullest might, or not at all, nor with the strength of right belief compel a thing to come, to be. From nothing absolute, it's plain to see, from nothing only nothing comes, because by law does justice hold from being the cause of generation and decay. She feigns, but slackens not her dominating chains, her grips grow stronger still. Your judgment o'er my words resolves this crucial either or. Reflect it to your very core. Being is, or being is not. Decide, I say. Dismiss the latter from your heart, a nameless course, and thoughtless too, for she shows not the source of truth. Traverse, instead, the way of being. Embrace the is, authentic, never fleeting. So how, I ask, would being cease, and how? Would being come, to be? It is not now. If once it was, not even should it last, the span of future time extending past us now, so Genesis is quenched its ruin, not for experience, nor is it strewn across vast multitudes divided from itself, since all of being is like, not some of it more here and some of it less there. The former forbids all binding wholes unfair, the latter neglects that all is filled to full with being. Hence all exist together whole, as being pulls itself to being by force. Attraction mutual, but quite divorced, unmoved within the limits of great chains, exists a sourceless, ceaseless being. Twin banes of birth and death long banished to the tides, for truth belief has pushed them out. It bides the same, in self-same place, remaining on its own, and so remains in fetters drawn, steadfastly to its core, for powerful necessity ensnares it in her pull, of chains and shackles binding fast, cinched tight on every side. On this account 'tis right for being to be not incomplete. It lacks no thing, since, if it did, its need would wax. For everything, self, same as well the thought and thinking act that being is, for not without the being, in which it is expressed. Will you discern the thinking act impressed upon the mind, for nothing else outside of being exists, or ever will? Cold pride of fate confined it whole and motionless, to say, whence flow all names which mortals dress, with playful suppositions based on mere belief that naming captures truth. You hear them speak of generation and decay, of being and non-being, of flight away from place of rest, exchange of brilliant hue. But here the outer limit shows the clue, since, now perfected from all points, just like a massive sphere, it circles back to strike. From place of rest, exchange of brilliant hue, but here the outer limit shows the clue, since, now perfected from all points, just like a massive sphere, it circles back to strike, itself in all ways equal from its core. This limit needs must never be some more here, and some less there, for neither can there be a what is, not to halt its span out through itself towards self, some unity, nor can pure being escape the symmetry of cosmic equipoise. It cannot change intensity, nor broach its rounding rage, to bulge with excess or deficiency, since all remains untouched simplicity, for equal to itself from every source, being meets with equal limits all its force. I cease here now, concerning truth, my thought and trusted speech for you, and learn you aught the ways of mortal minds. So listen close to hear the words deceptive order choose. Men set their minds to shapes, to name, but one of these must not be voiced, and here they've gone astray. They judge two masses opposite in strength, and lay down signs to seal the split. Of these the first fires forth ethereal flame, so gentle and smooth, in all directions same, unto itself; the other, not a whit the same, but in itself its opposite, dark night, a dense and weighty mass. To you I voice whole words of seeming things untrue, lest any mortal judgment should surpass you unawares. But since all things, alas, are named for light and night, and since both powers have been assigned to these and those, their flowers full in all both light and darkening night, in equal quantities, for none in sight has share of one exclusivity its own. The either you shall know, and all which sown therein did grow, both constellations far and wide, and suns destructive deeds, which scar the earth, with rays hot blazing torches burn. And whence these came to be, I bid you learn the wondering works and nature of the moon. Our spotted sphere, you'll ever know the swoon and sway of heaven's vaulting love embrace, both whence he grew, and how in shame disgrace necessity once dragged him off to hold the limits of the stars, and how it's told the earth and sun and moon will aether round them drawn, are heaven's scattered milky fount, Olympian heights, and thermal forces from the stars awakened to their being, benumbed with night while circling earth. There shimmers strange a borrowed light, which searches in its range the blinding rays of sun. The starry wreaths of thinner breath bring forth a fire that breathes and blasts full force. The ones beyond cloud back with darkest night, but still afar shine back their share of shimmering light, and in their midst there lives the goddess Destiny, who sits in a queenship over all, for intercourse of lovers mixed, and loathsome pangs, which course the womb she rules over all. She sent the woman off to mate with man, and bent it back for man with woman to mate again. And Eros first she destined to begin the lineage of the gods, and when a man and woman intertwine to seal the plan of passion's love affair, a life force forms from blood diverse, which courses, thickens, swarms the veins to fashion bodies well produced, of tempered forces born, from when one loosened, life's forces clash and strive upon the sown seed. No unity will they have grown within the body mixed, and curses shall vex the growing child with indeterminate sex. But when love's seeds implant themselves upon the right side of the mother's womb, they spawn new baby boys, but on the left they yield girls, for just as each one holds concealed within some mix of light with darkest night, which rushes through their wandering limbs, so might exist the mind of man, for wisdom's seat persists the same for every one you meet, and nature growing in the limbs, since thought is marked by greater growth, And so the lot of all there is or ever was I've shown to you according to opinions known, but, after they've grown, they'll cease to be, their names but signs affixed by man's decree.